Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I guess we're going to start this show a little early. Wow. We saw that live. Let's hit the go live button here. At this time, my Instagram account is not eligible to stream, so we're not going to stream on Instagram, even though I went to the trouble to set it up. So that is interesting. Do I have anything on the second input? I don't. So let's go here. Here. Let's take off the graphic. Take off the graphic. Since that seems to have crashed. This is what they call recovery. And I'm hearing myself in the headphones. So let me turn this off. And I can exit that because it's not going to work. Once again, I tried Instagram and Instagram is still not being nice to me today. So my main camera is working. Let me take that graphic out of the way. Yeah, we're debugging because the Director Mini crashed, and I've lost my secondary input, and I kind of need that to do the show. So let's see. ATEM? Did my ATEM crash? Because I'm not seeing anything coming in the second input. So let me unplug my ATEM. Can you even hear me? Yes, it looks like you can hear me. And it looks like the audio is coming in HDMI 2. I'm just not getting video with it, which is very odd. I'll give you a look at what I'm looking at. There should be a picture there. There should be something there. And the interesting thing is, all right, working on it, working on it. No. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello. All righty. Do I have audio? Looks like I do. Very interesting. I am going to force the power off. I'm going to force it to reboot manually. My main production thing that everything was going through is the Magewell Ultra and the Magewell Director Mini, and it decided to crash right as the show began. Actually, a couple minutes before, and we shall see if I can get it back up and running. So I've quickly rerouted everything. I'm going camera directly into my streaming service. Oh, okay. Now I have picture and everything back. So let's see if I can do this. Take this. So give me a sec and we will jump back. All right, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, I have picture. Yay! And I have sound. 1, 2, 3. I have a good sound. Wow, that was interesting. And that is why you don't run everything through one piece, because if that crashes, I still have this. Wow, that was an interesting one today. Let's do me over. Well, thank you all for being here. I guess that technically we're only, what, 1 minute behind the actual start of the show, just because the device decided to crash early. But thank you all for being here. Today we're going to be talking about the YoloBox Ultra and the YoloDeck, which is YOLO's bespoke control surface for controlling the YoloBox Ultra. And it's still in beta. It's not publicly available, but we're going to take a look at it in today's show. A little bit of disclaimer. Let me clear this. A little bit of disclosure, I should say, is that this was sent to me to help beta test, because I have a long working relationship with YOLO Live, and I have an Ultra, and so I'm helping them beta test things and providing feedback and things like that. So I have one available. As far as I know, it's not publicly retail available for sale just yet. So with that disclosure, there's no money. They're not paying for this show. I would love it if they sponsored the show, but because I cover other people's products, that doesn't work. So until I can find a sponsor, it's just going to be me. Anyway, I thank you all for being here. Scroll back up into the comments. Julio says, hello from Atlantic City. And I always say, what streaming questions do you have? It doesn't have to be related to the YoloDeck, but if it happens to be, that's great. If it's YoloBox related, that's great. If it's Director Mini related, that's great. If it's anything else, just throw it in there. Hello from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Good to hear you. Good to have you here, I should say. I have YoloBox Pro and love it. My question is if the YoloDeck can be used with the YoloBox Pro. Not yet, but they did say they're looking forward to bringing it because it's not terribly processor intensive. So it looks like they're going to be able to bring it to, I would say, at least the Pro and Mini, maybe the InStream. I don't know. I'm going to leave it to them to actually answer that question for real. I'm just hypothesizing because I'm not on the YOLO team. I'm not on the engineering team. I don't have any inside information. So we shall see what they're going to be able to do it. Bert says, good morning from Spooner, Wisconsin. I love to hear where people are watching the show from. Matthew is in Madison, Mississippi. Good afternoon to you, I think. I think you're one time zone ahead. Welcome to live streaming. Yes, when when things crash. But you continue on anyway because the show must go on. GD Creations is from India. Good to have you here. And Kiri Sinadonovsky, I'm not going to try again, from Macedonia. Great to have you here too. Early question, how to buy the YoloDeck and what is the price? I think they're aiming for $99. Again, I'm not on the team. I don't think it's publicly available yet. That's still in beta. They're still working at the software, adding new features. And the features we're going to cover today were updated as of just like a couple days ago. So they added overlays, which is something that I've been asking for from the beginning, but it just takes time. And they updated it so that the feedback works from the YoloBox back to the YoloDeck. That was something that wasn't in there in the very beginning. So they're actively building this software as we speak. And so they've got a good team of people who are testing it. And I just wanted to present this out there for people who are interested in this YoloDeck and who have the YoloBox Ultra, because that's going to be the primary one it works with at first. Then once they get the software all solidified and everything, then it's going to be much easier to move to other YoloBoxes. Andy, hello from Jacksonville, Florida. And Matthew says, any thoughts on X putting live streaming behind its premium subscription service? Yeah, I'm not going to be streaming on X. It's as simple as that. I mean, if they want people to pay just to stream, I mean, that's I didn't think there was that much interest in X anyway, but I could be wrong. Hey, you know, they just put more and more stuff behind a firewall. Maybe he'll just making more and more money, or more people will leave. Twitter, X Twitter, is not large enough in my streaming space, nor have I ever had a client ask for it. So there's zero need a paid account to do it. So let's see what we can do. I have my camera coming in over there, and this is probably going to crash again. I don't know why. And I am going to preemptively, let's see what I can do. Going to watch me build a show from scratch, hopefully, maybe, before it crashes for good. And it's interesting. Oh, maybe it's because I added NDI. Maybe if I just delete that input. Where is that? I'm going to delete this input. Maybe that's what's messing it up, because I was getting some really flaky NDI stuff. It's been rock solid. The Director Mini has been rock solid, but then I added the output of the YoloBox Ultra NDI out into the Director Mini today, like 10 minutes ago. No, actually it wasn't pre-show 10 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. And it was constantly like flickering. I even saw a different source come back and stuff like that. So something going on with the NDI streams here in the studio here. So you know what? I deleted that, and we're going to cross our fingers and see how things go. Continue with the comments. Greetings from Italy. Ciao. Good to see you. C. Brady Media. Hey, can you say if you are able to do a video about Top Director? That is in the works. That we have already communicated. We've got some stuff going on in the background, and yes, so Top Director is in the mix. It's on the way. Hello from Kashmir, India. Good to see you. Leo says, I've been out of the loop for a while. I just discovered I have to RTMP or SRT to stream to Facebook. Well, you don't have to RTMP or SRT to stream to Facebook. First, I don't think Facebook accepts SRT. I think YouTube is one of the few at this point. Also, Facebook only accepts RTMP-S. Secondly, you don't have to use RTMP to stream to Facebook. I'm not doing it, and I'm streaming to 2 different Facebook channels. But you do need to use RTMP if you want to stream into a group. That was the change that they announced back in January, February, earlier in the year, and everybody was like, no, and then they just executed it, and Facebook has made it so no apps work in groups. So if you had any sort of, Autobots doing chats and scheduling polls and doing community engagement and things like that, all of those are dead, including all of the live streaming hooks into groups. Those are all dead. So you need to RTMP into Facebook groups now. How have you posted any how-to videos on how to set up? You set up the RTMP in a Facebook group just like you set up the RTMP to go anywhere else. It's exactly the same process. But I will make a note. We can definitely put together a video on that. My pen has run away, but I have a marker. RTMP to Facebook. I'm making a note right there. That is why I love having an audience, because you have questions, and you're not the only one who's going to have that question. Other people who are viewing this are going to have that question, and so having somebody post a good question like that tells me that there's an interest in content like this, and I should make it. Kent says, so you can't use the StreamTEK on the YoloBox Ultra. No, you cannot. And the reason is Elgato makes API drivers for the StreamTEK. They make them for Windows. They make them for Mac. They don't make one for Android. And the Director Mini and the YoloBox and the OBSBot Talent, I think it's called, those are all Android devices. The YOLO InStream is a vertical device. Those are all Android-based devices. And if Elgato does not make an API for Android so that the tablet, the actual operating system, understands the thing you plugged in, you're shit out of luck, you know? So that's how it works. Leo Blakely says SRT is on beta testing on YouTube. I don't think Facebook is testing SRT yet. Yeah, I don't think so either. I haven't heard anything about that. I did see someone in one group say that they actually did get SRT working into YouTube. So it is there. It is working. I find it a little bit more challenging than just using their API. And remember, SRT is a one-way protocol, like RTMP is a one-way protocol. So if you're doing something like I'm doing where I need to get comments, you don't get them from SRT. So I'm not going to be using SRT because I like having your comments in the show. Topeka, Kansas checking in. Perhaps a bit of clarification for me. Just how many cameras can one utilize during a live broadcast? Depends on the tool you're using. If you're using the YoloBox Mini, you can have 2 inputs. If you go through the content on my channel, and I can do that because this part's still working. If you go to the content on my channel, right here, laptop, and you go over to my videos, you will find a cornucopia of information. Come on, waiting for YouTube to load stuff. There we go. Down here on the right, I got 10 cameras into the Director Mini without it crashing. And that's why I kind of suspect I'm not overwhelming the Director Mini. It's that one input is being flaky. So the fact that I got 10 cameras into the Director Mini, and then you come down here, the YoloBox Ultra can have even more. I was going for 15 cameras in the YoloBox Ultra. If you have an ATEM, that takes 8 inputs. If you have a TriCaster, it takes 8 inputs. If you have vMix, 100, depending upon how powerful your computer is. So if you ever watch sports on TV, they've got 20, 30 cameras going and it's streamed. So at least on Amazon it is. It's only streamed. No. It's go away. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to click a button and it's throwing up help screens for me. All right. Yep, we got that one. Good morning from Pico Riviera, California. Greetings from Burgas, Bulgaria. Well, good to have you there, Stan. And YouTube is testing another protocol called LV1, which should be like SRT, more efficient than RTMPs. We'll see. I really hope they don't only test one-way protocols, because the bidirectionality is key for a lot of people. What is the distance of PTZ AI tracking? Can work AI tracking football playground? AI tracking, before, in the last year or so, we started to put AI in front of it. Cameras have had tracking for many years. And we just didn't call it AI tracking, we just called it tracking. It has to identify a figure or a face. That's critical. So if you're super far away, you can teach it to recognize follow the ball or follow groupings, follow movement. Again, it's not AI, it's just machine learning if this, then that. If you see a ball go over here, then pan the camera over here. It's not AI. What is the distance? Well, if you've got a 30x camera and you can get close enough, it's going to have no problem following it. If you've got a 3x, not optical, OBSBot, and you are in the press box, you're going to have a wide shot and there's not really going to be much to follow. So the distance that PTZ can track has more to do with whether it can lock onto the subject. And that depends upon how much it can zoom. JM Film says, hello. Paravaz Loon says, is any possible way to get a feed from wireless camera, say a CCTV, to YoloBox Ultra through RTMP, SRT, NDI added to the same Wi-Fi network? Ultra, yes. It'll take 3 inputs over local NDI. There you go. You don't have to do it. It will actually take an SRT as well. So 4. I don't think it has an. Let's look at this. Did I get that up? I don't think it has an RTMP input. It has. Oh yeah, it does. So you have 3 NDI, SRT, RTMP. Do understand that the timing of all those different protocols are going to be different. Even the timing of different NDI cameras is going to be different. So whether you want to bring them all in that way, it's up to you, but understand that the sync may be different and there's no frame buffer for video that you can adjust in the YoloBox Ultra for you to try and match them up again. You'll find something like that in a TriCaster, in vMix, and in bigger tools that have windows and a bigger, GPU to handle buffering all those, just stacking those frames up in a little buffer. A little Android tablet, not so much. Been to your channel and subscribe. Love the content. 10 Camera Works. Thanks again. You're welcome. Thanks for the subscription. And as always, if anyone finds my content useful on the YouTube page, subscribe, like, follow, do all those cool things. And hey, share videos that you find useful with your friends who may not have even heard of my channel. That would be awesome, because I'm still trying to grow this channel. I've got like 1,000 some subscriptions, subscribers, followers. Scrolling back up, 1.5K. Not a lot, so I could still use all the help that you can give me. And Oren, good to see you here, man. Cheers from San Jose. Well, that clears us through the initial comments. Again, you can throw comments in anytime during the show. I have the screen up right in front of me so I can see your comments. That's the reason I use this setup here, so that you are part of the show. Questions you have can be included in the show like that. And that way, if you have a question about something that I'm going through, you can put it up there. If something else pops into your head, throw it up there as well. It does not have to be YoloBox or YoloDeck related. It's an open show. So I always like to mention that if you are watching on LinkedIn or Twitter till they shut me off, or Twitch or Facebook, YouTube is where you find the bulk of the information. I do have a Facebook page called StreamTEK. I don't know why it is like that. Click that. We do have a Facebook page called StreamTEK. You can follow the page. And thank you again to everyone who quickly followed me last week right over there, because I was under 100. And last week was when Facebook decided to enact their new restrictions with regards to pages. And I had to have over 100 in order to stream to the page. And 2 hours before the show, I got that last little bit to get over 100, and I was able to stream the show last week. So thank you to all you viewers who like and subscribe and make that happen. I also created a show a couple weeks ago on AirMix, which is a free iPad multi-camera live switching app. iPad, iOS, but you can use Android cameras and old iPhone cameras, even old iPods with cameras. fun little tool to play with. It's free because Curated decided to focus on higher end filmmaking and broadcast. And so this little app, they decided to just take off all the restrictions, put it out there for you all to play with. And because there wasn't a place where people could share information and figure things out, I created a group. So feel free to go join that if you want. And lastly, if you want to go to streamingmedia.com, go to Streaming Media Producer, you can sign up for the email newsletters. You'll see content that I put up there, as well as a whole group of producers who provide information. And if you're looking for consulting, I do consulting. You can reach out to me at stream4.us, and there's a contact page right up there. So thank you to all of you who are here. What we're going to look at today is I have my YoloBox Ultra here. That's the Ultra. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 camera inputs. This is the YoloDeck. And this was another input. Actually, I can plug that back in now that I think the emergency is over. I was quickly just yanking all kinds of cables out. Let's plug that back in. So now we're going to have another camera input there. And then this is my output, which is not working at the moment, interestingly enough. And it's an output issue with the Ultra. So you're gonna have to rely on looking down at my screen. And I apologize for that. I'm going to turn NDI off. This is what I was trying to use to capture the screen over on my Director Mini, but the feed was unstable, so it was causing my Director Mini to crash. So, and if you go to video out settings and try to set it to program out, it says, please connect a video source, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because it's not a source, it's an output. I'm not going to connect a source, I'm connecting my output. So that's not working right now. So that's where we are. So this is my Ultra. And if you saw recently, I did a video, found this cool little tool, and this is going to be the first time I actually use it in a show. Right here, I got this video player that exports 4 HDMIs. It plays a video clip, one 4K video clip, chops it up, and it's basically meant for video walls, you know, like in a lobby or something like that. But I always need something to demo these boxes with, and I need video, and hooking up multiple cameras looking at me is not always the most exciting. So I found this box, and it actually turned out to be better than I thought, and it's under $100. And if you test video gear and you need to set up and have just like demo video coming in so you can set up your pictures and build stuff and stuff like that, it's a great little tool. In the US, it's under $100. It was $90. And it is a dedicated box. You plug it in. Oh, and it's got storage built in. So let me roll over that. It's got storage built in, so I'm able to like create a 4K clip with 4 HD corners, stick it in there, copy my media to the internal storage, take my USB out, and then as soon as you plug it in, it fires up, plays the media. You don't have to do anything except apply power. And that's what I'm going to be using today. So down here on my Ultra, you'll see I've got this background that I could use to put somebody over top of. I've got this guy with a green screen. I've got this guy doing a presentation up on a stage about art. And I've got this woman doing a talking head medical stuff. And so I've got those 4 things. Those are actually all coming from that player. And 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what those 4 cameras are. And then down here, I've got NDI1, which is a camera that's way over there. I still ended up doing a camera of me. But it's nice to be able to like call up a 4 box like this. And hey, look, I don't have to set up all these cameras. I just hit this little player, and now I have stuff to like mess around with, including that little green clip there. And this is the Ultra. If you haven't used the Ultra or had opportunity to play with one, unlike the Pro and the other ones, you can scroll your inputs. And that is a handy feature, just like you can scroll your overlays. You can scroll your inputs, whereas the Pro, you have to hit like a little arrow and go between page 1 and page 2. So that is a really nice little feature. And Oren says, "I hope did we just freeze? I hope we did not freeze." Bert says, "I have an ATEM Mini Pro and want to set up a secondary stream for failsafe. Can the Ultra or Pro be able to do that?" Oh yeah. If you have an ATEM Mini Pro and you want to take the output of the ATEM, you can feed it into, I mean, you could just get a YoloBox Mini, and you can use the, go into the Mini as your single source, and then use the Mini to stream to a secondary or a failover RTMP key, so that if the RTMP from the ATEM crashes, you're still going to be using. I mean, that's your point. If it crashes, well, you lost program to both. So, but if only the stream fails, then the program coming out HDMI should be fine, and then I'll go that into an outside box. I mean, you could buy just basic encoders for less. Cerevo makes a couple. There's a couple of people that make just standalone. KiloView makes a standalone encoder for a couple $100, and then you can just feed into that and send that out. The nice thing with the YOLO, though, is that you've got the touch screen, so it's a monitor too. So there's that. Alonzo says, "I'm your 150th follower, by the way." Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Every little bit helps, especially when you're as small as I am. Kent says, "When you are bonding or using a USB-C hotspot or USB dongle hotspot, which USB-C connection do I need to use? Thanks." Okay, well, they're indicated on, I guess you're talking about the Ultra, because on the Ultra has 2 USB-Cs on the bottom. So does the Pro. And you'll see this one's got a battery icon. That's your power. And this one says USB-C. So don't try to stream out of the battery icon. Stream out of the one that says USB-C. Because the one that has the battery icon is just for power, just to keep it charged. And you'll see the same thing here. I've got this, the one on the corner, usually the one most towards the outside, is the power. There's another USB-C further in. That one is for data. You can plug in a USB stick. You can record to it. I could plug in my YoloDeck to it. You can plug in a streaming stick, like my little ZTE. And if you are interested in the ZTE, I have a video on the ZTE sticks too, how to set them up, because you can't just like put a SIM card in and stick it in. Doesn't work like that. You got to set it up. Did we just freeze? I hope not. I could certainly like it to be cooler here in Dallas. The Sports Don says, "Great idea." G. Brady asks, "I'm about to buy a broadcast software called Fincast Studio V7. It's kind of like vMix. I think you can look into it. Looks promising." I will write that down. Thank you for the suggestion. Fincast. Fincast. And heck, if it's V7, they must have been around for a little bit to come up to version 7. All right, continuing on with the YoloBox Ultra and the YoloDeck. The cool thing is this, let's unplug it so you can see what goes on here. It's dead. There's nothing going on. You plug it in. It has a splash screen for the actual OEM manufacturer, which they'll replace with a YOLO splash screen. And then after a couple seconds of booting up, it should go right into the show that I'm in. If not, I'll back out of the show and come back in. So let's try that. Come out of the show. Done. And then we'll go back in. There you go. So now you saw it's set up, and on here it's got a nice long cable, actually, like a 2-meter cable, and this is handy to basically give like graphics duty to someone else. I'm going to switch cameras, you handle the graphics. or something like that. And that way, you know, you could use it to switch cameras if you don't want to like be on here. So I can go to camera 1 and you see where it says camera 1 down here, camera 2, camera 3. And if someone else has this and you're switching on the YoloBox, this is from the latest update, it now provides feedback to the YoloDeck. If I go to camera 3, if I go to 4, 4 shows up on here. If I go to 1, 1 shows up on here. If I switch and I go to 2, 2 shows up down here. So that bi-directional feedback between the devices is new as of like a week ago. And as I was saying at the top of the show, they are actively refining and developing this, adding the overlays, which was the other really big important thing for me at least, has been added in this latest update. So you got 5 inputs. Right now, it's limited to 5 inputs. I said, you know, it would be nice if I had I could go up to 10, because sometimes shows are very camera heavy, sometimes shows are very graphics heavy, sometimes shows are very scoreboard heavy. Sometimes, you know, it'd be nice to be able to like use different people to use it in different ways. So it's only limited to 5, but you're not, you know, it's like, well, I've got this side by side and it's not number 1, it's not number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So that could technically be perceived as a problem, except for the fact that, you know, you got to remember that in the YoloBox, you can drag this to number 5 and then 3, 4, 5. There's my picture in picture. So that way you can put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in positions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those 5 things you want to use the most. So if it's going to be, you know, person talking and then a side, you know, and then a picture in picture, and then, I don't know, a pre-show graphic and then a post-show graphic or something like that, you can have those 5 things that you know you're going to need at the ready, or the things you're going to use most. And then your pre-show, closing, bumpers, and things like that, those are still on the YoloBox. Then you've got your overlays. So let's just go back to camera 2 here. He's talking, and I believe I got him set up as, that's number 3. And then you can see his graphic comes up. Again, I apologize, I can't give you this screen directly. That's not working at the moment. Actually, I can give you this. But then you can't see me pressing the buttons, which I think is the challenge. So let's go back to the overhead. So when I go like this, I can go to 3, it brings up the graphic, and I remember again that these have timers on them. So I have a timer on this that automatically after so many seconds, 1, 0, it's going to fade out. So you don't have to remember to turn it off. And then you can add, I have a graphic for the top of the screen, so I can call that up on number 4. There you go. There's the graphic at the top. Well, you can't really see it very well, but there's a graphic at the top of the screen, or there's a live button. Here I can put live in the corner, and that's going to count down as well. Now I've got this cool graphic with balloons over here, but I've only got 5 overlays. Interestingly enough, I asked them for more video overlays, you know, like 10, 2 rows, and they gave us 10 graphics overlays. I haven't put them in just because I kind of preset this up, but you could, like I said, if you come up here and drag this up, now that's number, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I come over here and go, there's a clock, take the clock out. Here is, what is that one? That is the little corner bug, take the corner bug out. And then I can go, oh, do I need to touch off of that and get that to work? Let's leave that panel, come back to that panel. There we go. There it is, 4, not 3. So the balloons can come in and then the balloons go out. So that could be kind of cool. Like if she's talking about something and she says, and the winner of the first gift prize today is da-da, you know, so you can have that as a graphic overlay, and you're going to use it over and over and over again. So it's there on a button. You don't have to always get back to this. Plus the really cool thing is you could be in this panel and still call the graphic up. That's where the real benefit comes. So that if I am like most of the time, I'm not in a live show here, but when I'm in a live show, I have the graphics or the comments over here. So the comments are coming in, I'm reading them, I'm picking which ones to put up and things like that, what order to put them up. So I do all the hellos first before the tech support questions, and having that up so I can scroll back and forth and bring those up, but not have to worry about, oh yeah, yay, and have that graphic available without having to go over to the graphics tab and lose my place in the comments tab. You see where having a control surface gives you, you've got one control surface here, one control surface here, and another one now here. You got three. And don't forget the Ultra also does web interface control. But this is a whole thing unto itself because it's so easy to plug it in, hand it to someone and say, here, you do graphics. It's as simple as that. Or one of the key things that really would make this useful is bringing up a scoreboard. So when I hit that, that is actively going to the output. When I tested it before the show with NDI, it actually did, it kicks right on. And then I have set up a second page over here. So if I click on the right arrow, now you can see, I paged through again. I've got score adjustments. So I can start a replay, I can stop a replay, I can add score to the home team, I can add score to the away team. Oh no, they fumbled it. Okay, take that score off. Too bad for you. And then go back to my home screen and then go back to my camera inputs. Now, this setup is something that I just put together for me. This is completely customizable. And let me show you the control panel for that. At the bottom of your gear icon is the YoloDeck configuration. Now, this is going to take over the whole screen and you can see source 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you wanted to rearrange those, I don't know why you would, but you can move these around like this, or you can drag them to the trash can. You've got your overlays 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got my max program to make the program bigger. I can go to the comments tab. There was my scoreboard, and then the buttons to go between screens. So I have a second screen, which is my scoreboard, my replay, first screen, second screen. You can see there's a plus icon to add another screen. There's a minus icon to delete that screen. And over here on the right-hand side, again, I know it's, let's go like this. You can see there are video sources, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, I have asked them for more, but this is where we are right now. We've got 5 inputs, and if I wanted to add video inputs to my scoreboard area so I can keep going, I click on 1, I drag it over here. I click on 2, I drag it over here. I click on 3, I drag it over here. I click on 4, I drag it over here. I click on 5, I drag it over here. Cool, right? Now let's just say, oh, while I'm in the scoreboard thing, I also wanted to be able to turn the scoreboard off. I can grab the scoreboard button, I put that in the corner. So there, I can change the score and then tap the scoreboard off and then go back to my main page with the right setups like that. This is how easy it is to set this up. You're just clicking and dragging, and you can see I can have empty buttons too. Let's just say I know I'm not going to need number 5 here, so I'm just going to drag that to trash can, delete it. That's available for something else. So that's really handy there. Right now, the scoreboard also I feel needs more to it, because if you're doing American football, you're going to need +6 and +7, but right now it just has +1, +2, +3. Away team +1, +2, +3, or -1, 2, and 3. So if you want to get to 7, you got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's just the way it is. And then here we go with your overlays right here. Overlay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 overlays that you can drag wherever you want. So I could put overlay 5 right here and then save that. Go to my second screen. Here's overlay 5. Oh, you can't see it. Go overhead. I saved it, and now it's down here. Here's overlay 5, and I can bring in overlay 5, and I think 5 will time out by itself. Scrolling up is the comments tab. You can switch to it. There it is. Overlay 5 timed out, and then when it did time out, it updated the button and made it not red. I'm still on source 1. Switch to the comments tab. I can feature the comment or hide the comment. What I don't see is a way to navigate comments yet, up or down. And if you're going to navigate which comment to feature, then you need to be able to see them. So if you need to see the comments, you kind of still need to be here on the YoloBox or use the web interface. Recording, start and stop recording. Originally, that was one of the buttons. That was the first thing I removed because I don't accidentally want to hit stop recording by accidentally pressing the wrong button. That would be very bad. Next config, last config. So these are those 2 buttons. You can move them wherever you want. You know, have them on the top, have them on the bottom. This is working fine for me. Live streaming, program out or go live or end live is a button. Go or stop your live stream. Again, I wouldn't want that to be a button on my quick buttons here. I'm happy to like have to come up here. You know, are you ready to go live? Yes, I'm ready to, you know, have to go through that secondary approval process. I'm happy to do that so that it's not accidental. You can bring the program to max so that, you know, when you have the little window, but you want to see something a little bigger, you can make it really big. And then you're still able to switch cameras and overlays, but now you've got a big screen. Very, very handy. Switch to the analog audio, switch to the audio mixing tab. Not really handy because there's not a way to, you know, mix those things. And if you're going to switch to the audio mixing tab, which is here, you're probably in front of the YoloBox, and then you could have done that yourself. Although interestingly enough, let me go back a screen. Comments tab. It actually does an overlay on this screen, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because I wouldn't be in the middle of configuring my YoloDeck and then all of a sudden have to like manage comments or something. That didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Program audio on or off. Like if you wanted to shut audio off in your stream, there's a button for that. I don't know why there's a button for that, but there is. Audio follows video. Fade to black. Okay, I understand if you want to fade the audio out with fade to black and end the show or put a break in between it, just have silence. Okay, let's do them together as fade to black, but I don't need to separately turn off audio and have somebody, because that would be disconcerting to people who see a person talking but can't hear anything. PDFs, next page, last page. Hopefully that will work with stills too, because again, you can load in a package of stills into the YOLO. Replay, start a replay, end replay, and I'm told, I haven't tried this, and I'm not streaming, so I can't do it, that when you hit start replay, the alert will still come up on the YoloBox Ultra asking you whether you want to do it now or save them for later. So I think there needs to be more buttons here. Like you, instead of start replay, you could say like mark or save my replays from this moment. Like there was a score. There's still something going on. I don't want to use the replays just yet, but here, mark them here. And I get them, they all get saved, and then I can go into my replays later. And then we go back to your video sources. So that is all of the things that we currently have over here on the right. You can see how easy it is. Let's come up here to Program Max. Let's put Program Max up here. That's how easy it is to program a button. Right now, you can't design the buttons. Right now, they're a little smaller than the actual visible area on the button. They don't take up the whole space. Hopefully, they can grow a little bit. And I think there needs to be more of them. I'm pretty sure, I'm going to guess that more are on the way. You hit save. It updates the YoloDeck. We exit this. You're not exiting the show, you're exiting this interface. And then you're back into the show. So then I still have my inputs 1, 2, 3. Apparently I still have my scoreboard on there. We can take that off. And then I can go to the comments tab. Well, I'm already on the comments tab. Let's go to scoreboard tab, and then I go to comments tab. I guess that's, you know, just as easy as touching these things right here, right? Can I turn replay on? Please select sources. Okay, so let's go 1, 2, 3. And then we go back out of here, turn replay on. All right, now come over here. He's talking, he's talking. I think I only have it set for, I don't even know how many seconds I have. Boom. There, now I'm in replay. Here's replay 1. And then replay 2, it says next. And they're 10-second replays. So it's going to circle through all those replays. I don't have an intro or outro loaded, a bumper loaded for these things, but it's showing all 3 of them. And I did not set the speed on these things to be, you know, slow-mo, and 10 seconds is a really long replay, I think. But that is your replay, and you can see that if we come over here to this, and we say start replay, okay, replay is going, and now I say, oh wait, you know what, game's going on. You can exit the replay, and we're back into our show. I'm going to turn that off. And overlays, nothing you can really do here except turn on audio follows video and turn it off, which I can see would be handy if you were doing your own thing with people in the studio, and then you wanted to also then bring in remote guests. So generally you want to keep audio follows video off, but then when you want to bring in remote guests, when you bring them on screen, you want their audio on. When you move them off screen, you want their video or their audio off. So then audio follows video is very important. So I can see turning it on then and turning it off otherwise. All right, let's see. I'm going to try to pick up where we were. What I found after using it is that the URL paste function is required. Yes, the URL paste function is still required for RTMP. But you can do that. You can do that on the phone. Also, it needs a replay navigation function. Yes, I believe it does. Someone asked, is he talking about Filmcast? Filmcast? Have you officially started selling YoloDeck? I don't sell anything. I have no skin in the game. I don't make any money off of you buying it unless you buy it through one of my affiliate links in the description. YOLO has not started selling the YoloDeck yet, as far as I know. Can you rename the sources through the Ultra? That's a good question. I believe, come over here to HDMI 2. Let's go to overhead. And I don't want to trash it. HDMI 3. Does not appear that you can rename the sources. Because when I click on it, on a source, it says NDI 1, it says local video 1, it says HDMI 1, but there's just a trash icon. Now let me go up here to the gear icon. I can flip it. Oh wait, no, there's a rename. Look at that. Enter a name. Bob. Check. Look, it's Bob. Go up to the gear icon, click rename. This is Mark. And over here, I'm gonna rename this again. This one is background, Mark. This is Jeff. He's the mayor of our little town. There's Jeff talking about some art. And so you can, they could be the people who are in the shot. They could be the operators on the cameras. So yes, you can rename them. NDI 1, I can rename as Anthony. So there you go. And if I wanted to move Anthony up here by the side by side, I could just click on that and drag it up here. And then I've got my change pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, Anthony. Wave to the camera. And that is how you can rename those. There you go. Replay. You have a stop replay button. I thought replay is auto stop. Then the YoloBox unit went back to the main selection. It does. But if you're capturing 4 cameras or more of a goal and you have each one set to like 5 seconds or 7 seconds and it's slowed down, the time to go through all those replays could be 30 seconds. If they start play very quickly, sometimes, let's just say it's high school football and there's this really, there was a fumble and they picked it up and let's look at the fumble again, but they're doing a hurry up offense, and they start playing again. You don't want to be stuck in the replay missing the next 2 plays. Stop replay, get back to the game. That's why. Does it rename on the YoloDeck as well? No, the YoloDeck doesn't take any of the names. The YoloDeck just says source 1, source 2. Let's look at the overhead again. The YoloDeck just says source 1, source 2, source 3, source 4, or 5 source, 5 overlay, max program. So these are not customizable. And if you come down here to the YoloDeck configuration, You know, selecting this is just how you drag it around. You can't change the names over here. So sources, start, stop replay, next page, program max, program out, next config, last config, start, stop recording, switch to the comment tab, overlay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, scoreboard, home score -1, home score +1, away score -1, away score +1. So when you go to that page, it actually says away score +1, scoreboard. Away score -1, scoreboard. That's the whole button has a lot of text, which would help if it was bigger or just had, you know, if I know I'm doing scoreboard, it doesn't have, the button doesn't need to say scoreboard, so you can have more room for other text. You know, it could just say home +1, home +3. I don't need home score. It's obvious I'm changing the score. Because, you know, unless you want to also be doing audio +1 and -1 on here too, which I don't think is ever going to happen. So no, it does not rename on the YoloDeck at all. The YoloDeck buttons remain the preset names that they come with. But the nice thing is that, again, this is like a referential thing. You know, you also don't see the inputs on this because this is a little LCD screen in here, but I don't anticipate ever that the video is going to be coming out and you're going to see source 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. It's just going to be, you know, the buttons, and even just having 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 would be enough. It wouldn't have to say source, because if you're setting it up for you, it's very likely you're going to set it up the way you want to work, and it's the way you want it. So you may not need detailed labels on here. Again, if you're handing it off to someone else, or if you're setting it up for, let's just say, a church or something like that, and you have volunteers coming in, you know, you say 1 source, 2 source, 3 source, 4 source. I guess it would be nice if it said pulpit, bema, you know, wide shot, organ, you know, different things like that. That would be handy. But at the same time, I think, save, I think when someone is also, yes, sitting in front of this right here, they can see what they are, and then after a while, they can know this is the close shot of the pastor talking. This is the wide shot. This is the audience. This is from the back. You know, that's the organ or something like that, or wide shot of the band, close shot of the singer. You know, things like that. It becomes very familiar in a short period of time. So the YoloDeck is been on for a good couple hours. It's very cool to the touch. It's got the little rubber stops here on the bottom. Mine is a pre-pro model, so it doesn't have a label on here. It is USB-C on here, and you could plug it into the USB-C or the USB-A on the YoloBox Ultra. It comes with an A to C cable that's also a right angle, which I actually like, because you can see I stuck it up underneath it here, and it's not sticking out the back, so it's not taking up space. I kind of like that. It's light, it's flexible, it's not really heavy duty. If you've ever gotten one of the Logitech Brio cameras, you can, or the Elgato 15 button thing that has a USB-C, USB 3 cable, and that is heavy duty. And I like the fact that this sits nicely on the table. I don't have to worry about trying to snake the cable out of the bottom. It's just sticking out the back. And it's detachable, so that if the cable gets busted, I could just use a different cable. If I want to use a shorter cable, because I'm right here and I don't need 2 meters of cable to go 6 inches, I can replace it with a 6-inch cable. I suppose if I needed it to go further, I could put a longer cable on it that had, you know, was heavier duty and had thicker wires to carry the electricity further. But by and large, I am liking what YOLO is doing with the YoloDeck. I like the buttons. I like the size. I like the functionality that they're putting in here. Like I told them that in a previous version, I was like, well, when I push this, it didn't show up over here. Now the buttons do reflect changes being made on the YoloBox itself. So somebody sitting off to the side who only sees this You know, if I put this up here, do you know what inputs I'm switching to? Yes, you do, because it's being reflected. And if I add an overlay, you see the overlay going on. You see two overlays or three overlays all going on. And two of them are going to time out on their own. Three should time out, 1, 0. And then number 2, which is my corner bug, does not have a timeout, so it's going to stay there until I turn it off. And it's been, for me, one of the key things really is having something do what it says it's going to do. I like something that is reliable and bulletproof, and just, even if it doesn't do everything I want it to do, I want you to do those things that you say you do without fail. As long as you do that, don't overpromise and underdeliver. Just, if you say you do this, do it. You know, the thing that gets me most is when you have a box that says, oh, and we do this, but it doesn't actually do it that well, or it doesn't really do it. There's certain issues with it. And thus far, the YoloDeck is indeed doing what it portends to do. It is allowing me to have a remote control, a physical tactile surface that I can be looking at you, and I can be, you know, I can feel the buttons because they're tactile. I can feel the corner. So I know this is 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have to look at them. I can be watching, you know, a fast game of badminton or ping pong. You know, cut, 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 cut. You know, I can do that while staying focused because you can touch this. It's not a touch screen surface. So that gives you the ability to do things. And hey, they're flat enough. There's a little bit of a concave nature, but not as much as the Elgato. So I think if you wanted to add some other tactile button surfaces on here, you could do that too. I know photographers do that. They take the shutter button, they can add like a little grippy or something so their finger can find it faster. You could add a couple home buttons on here, or your most pressed, your you know, go-to buttons can have those things so you can find them like that and not have to like center on the corner, then count 3 over and things like that. I think that is, you know, going to be up to the individual user whether they think that's valuable. I also like the fact it's very compact. It's not too big. We don't need it to be like, look how big this is. It comes with a stand. I should say, this is the box. I think this is the temporary box. And there's a little manual. And in here, it comes with a stand that you can put there or there. Not much difference between the two. But this is for those who, like, it grips the front lip, so it actually sits in there. And this is for people who want to see it. And they'd be like, you know, okay, hit this, hit that, hit this, hit that. You know, there's people who want to see it. You know, I could see that, you know, for like volunteers. Okay, I want to go to the camera 3. Okay, I need to do overlay 2. Overlays, I could definitely see, you know, like the person's name would be good here. I could see that being on customizable titles. And I think that's something really useful to like post in the Facebook group and let them know that, hey, it would be really useful if this was possible. There's actually a second fold out here. Ah, nope, there's more than that. Okay, so there's a second one. There's 2 here. So you've got the tall one, and then you've got a more shallow one. So if you wanted to sit back a little more, and then you've got 1, 2 locations there, and then flat. So I was looking at that going, well, that's very interesting. So I didn't want to misrepresent it, but that is the way the stand works. And just as with the much more expensive Elgato stands, I don't use them. They just stay in the box. So there is other mounting options. 1/4-20. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. But I can definitely see, aside from the label area, I think you could put one of those stickies for like cell phones on here. And then like I have these are little 1/4-20 threaded, and my phone sticks on there just fine. So having this stick on there, and the magnet for this is actually inside the silicone cover. So there's a gap, and it still sticks on there just fine. So there's no 1/4-20 on the device itself. There's no 1/4-20 on the holder, and it's not a really grippy holder. It's meant to just sit there nicely. It could slide sideways, so I wouldn't count on that to hold it. You could probably put a clamp on this too, you know, clamp it down. Although it's slippery on the bottom, you'd have to clamp the front of it like that. The Sports Don says, being able to customize names to buttons would be nice. Perhaps that will be a software upgrade after the deck rolls out. I like the deck. Nice product addition. I agree on both of those counts. Yes, I agree with you. Can you set transitions on the Ultra, and then does the deck understand the transition you want, or does it have a straight cut to the next source when using the deck? You can't change transitions. I can see that as a feature request, because sometimes you want to fade out of a show or fade from an opening into your stage show and then cut the stage show and then say, hey, let's show this video, and then fade to the video. So being able to quickly switch the transition, that would be a really good feature. You should post that in the group. What we're kind of talking about is in the YoloBox. Let's go here. If you go into your video source transitions, you can see how it says cut here and fade. Being able to put those two on a button so that you have it set to cut and you're cutting all your different things, and then you're going to want to go to a video, you can click on fade and then go to the video, and then when fade back out of the video, and then once you're out of it, click cut, and then you're cutting your cameras again. I could see that adding a bit of polish, being able to have the cut and fade, or cut and auto being whatever is set here. Because it can fade, because there is a fade to black right up there. Anything else I missed? And that is all the questions. So once again, I thank you all for being here. My name is Anthony Barocas. I'm the Chief Gearhead here at StreamTEK. And once again, I always appreciate you being here. If you haven't already, check out the YouTube page. There are a ton of video tutorials, demos. There's also a conversations series where I talk with people who are in the industry, camera operators and builders and YouTubers and things like that. Get some, listen to other people's stories, and there's always a couple of things that you could take away from that. And then I just started a new series called Studio Critiques. And before critiquing anybody else's studio, I critiqued my own studio. There's a couple things that should be done in my studio to make it a little bit better. And I have another one next coming out this week where there's the local library built a studio in the library. So I go check it out and offer a few thoughts on that as well. And feel free to check out. And let's see, did somebody say 149? Wait, somebody said he's 150. So let me refresh this page and see if we get any higher than 150. 150. So we did get to 150, but we didn't get any higher. Maybe you are all already subscribers. So I appreciate you, and I will look forward to talking with you next week. Till then, thanks for watching.